on the Thomas Ceccon 100 meter freestyle, 47.71 seconds on 27 July 2021, specifically in the preliminary heats. And I'm Tanis Coralee Leonhardi. This is my YouTube channel, Tanis Leonhardi. And this was, so he swam this at the 2020 Summer Olympic Games in Tokyo, Japan. It was a Tuesday, 27 July 2021. So I'll provide my take and perspective on his performance and contextualize it in terms of my writing and publishing about the race on English Wikipedia. My following swimming/virtual spectating experience and understanding the significance of preliminary heats in international competitions. So let's start with the first one. So I wrote and published about the race on English Wikipedia at the time. I was focused mainly on Americans because it was first and last time. I'm currently blocked for infinity from Wikipedia, so I won't be writing about any future Olympic Games on English Wikipedia per their own choosing. And so unless they revert on their own decision, kind of thing. And I feel like I want to write about it, but that requires them reverting themselves first. And so 2020 Summer Olympic Games in 2021. And so I was focusing on Americans because I lived in America, and I was like, oh, if I'm living in the United States of America, it's like if I write about the United States of Americans this time, then at the next Olympic Games I get to kind of write about whatever I want, which won't happen because I've been blocked. So that dream of getting to write, kind of contribute to whose articles I want to, as opposed to the country I live in, Wikipedia has said, fuck you, Tanis! Your dream does not deserve to become true, at least not here on this platform. So there we go. And so Thomas Ceccon was Italian, competing for Italy, proper affiliation at the time. And so I was not contributing to his Wikipedia article as such, because I was like, my little brain is being stretched enough that focusing on the Americans is a good way through this. I did write about some other people like Mireia Belmonte of Spain, and Anna Arendt of Germany, and I think it was Ilya Atkinson of Jamaica and stuff. So it wasn't only Americans, but I was like, I'm just gonna, okay. And this actually ties into the last, understanding the significance of preliminary heats in international competitions. Him and Evgeny Rylov at the 2020 Summer Olympic Games caught my attention in the preliminary heats to such an extent that I was like, I don't want to write about the Americans. And so Thomas Ceccon was one of those where like I saw the result and I was like, oh, I want to write, I want to contribute to your article. And there was this time of 47.71 seconds. It was a personal best time for him. He was the fastest swimmer in the preliminary heats, and it advanced him to the semifinals. And so it was just kind of fun, because when I grew up watching sporting competitions, the Olympic Games, the number one notability of the Olympic Games was diversity of results, and anything could happen, meaning like it's not going to be the same person winning the same race every single time, right? If it is, it's rigged, and then that's on the docks points from the Olympic Games is notability, right? So we'd look for, and the most notable were kind of like the things that kind of came out of the blue, so to speak. So like at the 2020 Summer Olympic Games, the biggest moment in swimming, like socially and like in my writing, was Lydia Jacobi winning the 100 meter breaststroke from the United States of America, because it wasn't like it was Bobby Fink, right, where he did the exact same thing at the Junior Pan American or Pan Pacific Championships before. No, she was true new, and so Thomas Ceccon was true new for Italy, and so it was really cool, and it was a little bit of a breath of fresh air. And I remember seeing it and reading about it and being like, if I remember, I want to return to his English Wikipedia article and write about it. And I actually did, and there was a bit of a delay. It was October 2022 when I actually got back to it. But that shows how powerful his performance was in the preliminary heats, more than, I don't even remember who won the Olympic gold medal in that race, right, from that year. I remember Thomas Ceccon, and I remember my Kyle Chalmers making the podium. And was there a Russian on the podium? Was he the gold medalist? Or the bronze medalist? Okay, point being there, it was more impactful. Yeah? I love you, stay safe, have fun! My mom. And so, yeah, so I thought it was a good, in sticking with writing and publishing on English Wikipedia as long as I did, I think it was great for me to see that I do actually remember these things and do follow through, or if I can, all right, if I'm not impeded, if somebody doesn't get in my way, right, kind of thing. So yeah, and now I'm doing it on YouTube, right? So it shows even when I am impeded, I still can follow through on somewhere else. So it shows how powerful his performance was. And then my following swimming / virtual spectating experience. So kind of wondering, and that ties into the other two, is okay, it's fast, and I get that at the time it's fast, and I like this guy, and I'd like to write about it, but there was a bit of a concern of like, am I gonna remember what I follow and or watch from the Olympic Games, right? A bunch goes on. Swimming wasn't the only thing I watched. Is sport I watched, that kind of stuff. So in that sense, like, from a spectator's standpoint, I'm like, how does a race even make an impact, right? Like, I'm watching this, and am I going to actually remember this result from this person who's not competing, representing the country I live in, right? And sure enough, I did. And he wasn't the only one. But it was, so it was a little bit of a change, right? Of like, okay, I've kind of like watched the Olympic Games before, but also watching the games, reading the results, and then writing and publishing about the results. I was like, I'm doing this for a number of people. Am I gonna remember? And like, especially since it's somebody I'm not writing about at the time. And it's kind of funny because like, I don't necessarily remember the results of everybody I wrote about at the time, but I remember this guy and what he did, right? So what is it now, over 2 years later, I'm filming this on Saturday, 6th January 2024, over 2 years later, so not that much longer later, but like, it's still later. Yeah, I remember it better than some of the stuff I wrote about, which is interesting. And there's like, okay, so there's a, I was like, so it was like curiosity peaked, and now reflecting on it, contextualizing it, yes, it was impactful, which is not necessarily what I anticipated, but that's not necessarily, doesn't mean it's a bad thing. And he is, for my who in my wedding scenario, with my who being Dominique Szoboszlai, so it's hypothetical, maybe it'll graduate to an actual wedding. He is, Thomas Ceccon is invited on our guest list as the driver. And so I guess driving, I'm like thinking it through, it would be like what? Driving to the proposal location, driving to get the donuts for the dozens videos. So like the Szoboszlai dozen, the Ingebrigtsen dozen, the Sharon dozen videos, which might end up being, if we're all trying to watch or wait a little bit, it might be we only finish 1, 2, or 3 donuts or something like that. And then, like with Dominique Szoboszlai, hand the remainder off to Joshua Liendo and have him finish it. Or with like Jakob Ingebrigtsen and hand the rest off to Kyle Chalmers and have him finish it. Or with Ed Sheeran, hand it off to, who I actually thought this through. But the donuts, right, we might go with Thomas Ceccon to pick out the donuts, but he would be kind of like the driver, whatever car that may be. Let's see, the Sheeran, Attila Szalai, that's a Hungarian footballer. Hand it off to him if we can't finish the donuts, so there might be 3 people, because I'm in filming in a potential location to film those videos, there's kind of space for 3 people, and the reality check of the bride and groom might be watching their weight a little bit, okay, kind of thing. But we still want those dozen donuts. Okay, so there's that. Oh, and since he's the driver, he's also a driver, has another meaning in a sense of like being an impetus for something. Let's see if we have time. We do. So let's write in Dominique Szoboszlai. 4 p.m. start time. Yay or nay? Yay! Okay, so start time for on the save the date. Let's write it in. 4 o'clock p.m. Seattle time zone. It's kind of messy. It's not too bad. I'm not going to put a period. There we go. Start time, 4 p.m. Seattle time zone. So the driver for that being Thomas Ceccon, the man with the message of the start time being Dominique Sabosli. This is for the Dominique Sabosli as my who, my wedding. This is save the date. Okay, so that's filled in. And you gotta witness I guess the writing might have been below this cutoff, but witness me writing it in. As opposed to it being written in. Okay, there's that. Anything else? For some reason, something that came to mind when thinking about this, making this video and stuff, it reminded me of the Tanis platform. And does he get, like the video sharing platform, does he get an account if he wants one? It's kind of a first come, first serve thing. And I was thinking instead of maybe still have a flash function, but my dream number being like 15,000 subscribers equivalent on YouTube. Maybe set for the different YouTube channel equivalent on Tanis, not named a channel, but the YouTube channel equivalent, or roughly, allow people to set a maximum number of subscribers, and it's a first come first serve thing. So whoever subscribes first gets that spot. So like, okay, my dream number is 15,000 subscriber equivalents. Maybe set the cap at 17,500. And let's say the Sarah Sostrom I'm a biographer for wants an account but only wants 5 to 10,000. She might choose subscriber equivalents. Maybe she chooses a cap of no more than 7,500. That kind of thing. So implementing that kind of thing. Oh, which kind of gets me to why would I do that on YouTube? So after I witnessed Léon Marchand get physically assaulted publicly on a pool deck back in March 2023. So it's been more recent. I think it's in the past 6 or 7 months. And I'm filming this Saturday, 6th January 2024. Hope to post it the same day on YouTube. I'm Tanis Coralee Leonhardi. It's my YouTube channel, Tanis Leonhardi. Somebody who physically assaulted me publicly subscribed to my channel, and I got an email from YouTube saying that the person had subscribed to my channel, which I deleted to kind of notify YouTube. Right, YouTube's owned by Google, and that I got the email through my Google account, so I was like, if I delete it, maybe they'll understand there's a little bit of a red flag for this person subscribing to me. I don't want them to assault me again and to have the seed for that repeated physical assault being they subscribed to me on YouTube, and YouTube could have just removed them as a subscriber to help protect me. So yeah, it's about making sure that doesn't happen, right? That YouTube allows that, right, kind of thing to happen, and has done nothing to remove them from my subscribers. At least not that they've made aware to me, or if they've unsubscribed, they haven't notified me that person has unsubscribed. So yeah, trying to make sure that at least for the founder of Tanis, this Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, we don't have any of those people who have physically and or sexually assaulted me have accounts. Right? We don't want those kind of that kind of behavior to be propagated through our platform. Okay, unlike YouTube, which allows it, and I think it continues to allow of me filming this because they and if they don't, then they have not notified me, and I would like to be notified. But yeah. Thomas Ceccon is welcome. Anyway, there's that athletic performance contextualization. Happy day and time of viewing whenever you're viewing this, and happy place of viewing this wherever you're viewing this from.